Hey, hi, pozhalovat, bonjour, and Hola, welcome back to Nevar. My name is Nevar, and you're watching my video. And in today's video, I am going to be redrawing some of my old art that I made when I first started drawing digitally. This first drawing is one that I made back in February of a story that I had. I don't remember any of their names. I just know that she was some warrior protecting this prince, and the prince got, thrown into a trap that took him back in time. If you couldn't tell, I was obsessed with Tears of the Kingdom. She gets these magic powers, and she goes back in time to fight these villains that kidnap him and take him away and all this other stuff. So, naturally, I drew a warrior with a bow that defies gravity, hands that don't work, forearms that are way too small, feet that couldn't support the size of her massive torso compared to her very tiny waist and pelvic area, I guess. What is that called? Hips, that's what I'm trying to think of. Hips. A couple of things that I can point out to you about what's wrong with that first drawing is, first of all, her body proportions are way off. She shouldn't look like a 2-year-old experimenting with Legos. And honestly, her neck melting into her face, and with how, her hair folds and everything, it looks weird. Also, her hands and fingers are a huge issue I have, along with her little weird knee bracket type things. Not to mention her bow, which is defying gravity and also probably really small, because if we see the angle that it's going at, it would end right at the bottom of her right side of her chest. Sorry, I just had to do the left trick thing to figure out which side is left and which side is right. I can't tell the difference sometimes, but there's also this other thing with the crystals. That crystal is pointing downwards, and those boots wouldn't be able to grip onto that surface like that. She would be sliding away. Just for a reference, the way that I drew this, she slid down in the story, okay? This is something you have to be careful with when you're writing a story. If your character is sliding down something and you want to draw them right as they stop sliding, I can't really give advice because I don't really know, because I changed it to where she was standing on this giant crystal surface that was flat, but she's also at an angle and on one of the sides that slant downwards, which means she would be falling on her face right now, to her inevitable doom. Now back to what I fixed. I like it a lot more. Also, the fire looks cool. And this next drawing is a fan art that I did for Miss Paris Plays. She is an Animal Crossing YouTuber that you should totally go check out because she is fantastic at what she does. She streams pretty often. She makes videos on her different islands and everything, and she is absolutely fantastic, a wonderful human being. And she's also got a really calming voice. It's really nice to listen to, especially when you're drawing or doing chores or something. So I do recommend her videos so much. Like the last one, I am going to talk about the original piece that I made, and then I'm going to talk about the drawing I'm currently working on. The original piece is a little bit of a wreck. Not nearly as bad as the first one, because, oh lord, I don't think it can get worse than the first one. This one is not so bad. I'm not that disappointed in this one. I would say that stylistically, I don't draw that nose anymore. I don't really like that nose when I draw it. I've seen other artists do it, and that's why I decided to draw it that way. But personally, my art style does not fit that. There's also the fact that the shadows look off to me, I guess. Blendy shadows doesn't equate to good shadows. And that's something that a lot of people, especially myself, don't understand, is that you don't have to have blendy shadows for it to be good shadows. That's why you'll often see a lot of people doing really harsh shadow lines, and then I'll have the really light and gentle shadow lines and everything. That's why. It's because blendy shadows do not always equate to good shadows. Repeat that for me. because honestly, I need to hear it again. Past me certainly needed to hear that. There's also a little detail that I forgot about that you guys probably didn't even notice. And if you did, props to you for noticing. Where are her legs? I'd like us to sit and marinate for a second on the fact that she is lacking a pair of legs. Now I get that there are people out there that don't have legs, and props to you for, living your life. You do you. That is super cool to see how some people get through their day-to-day without legs and without arms. I really want to go on a rant about, these videos that I saw that really interested me, but I'm going to avoid doing that for now because I feel like you guys are already clicking off. People don't typically fly, with or without their limbs. They typically don't fly. But she is. So either she's magic or she's a ghost. Free choice. I really don't know what to say. I liked the hair that I drew and the little magic around her. Yeah. There's only a couple more seconds of this drawing, but I would just like to say that I am really proud of how this turned out, and I think it's my favorite. Okay, so this last drawing is pretty short. It's not going to last very long, but it was certainly not my favorite, but not my least favorite, because I feel like the first one and this one have it tied. Well, the middle one is definitely my favorite because of how much more detail I went into with it. But I did change the colors from blues and purples to reds and blues. Not really sure why I did that. I think I just liked it because it was a cool contrast and stuff. I also added a spotlight because it's spotlighting the choice that you have to make with hiding your feelings and everything. And I'm using the word too much. And I also like the little light I had behind her. Anyways, here are the final pieces of everything that I made. As I said, fan art for Miss Paris is probably my favorite. Have a wonderful day, and as always, have a meme.